Good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott. I'll be taking you up until the 10 o'clock hour. We do apologize for the slightly late start, but there was a power outage in the area. We just had to start up everything. And not only start up, but we had to reset everything in the studio. And I had to do that in less than 20 minutes. So I had to restart all the computers, everything, within 20 minutes and get everything back to where it's supposed to be. If you know, you know. That's not an easy task, eh? So just making sure everything is operating the way it's supposed to be operating. And let's hope the electricity stays with us for the rest of tonight's program. We say a special good night to you all listening via 91.9, 91.5 Real FM out there in beautiful St. Patrick. Do hope that you all are having a fabulous night. Wow, we're nearly to the middle of March already, eh? This year ain't making joke, boy. This one flying, eh? Ain't making no joke. Yeah, I feel like going home, but I'll stay. So in a short while, we'll let you know about the various activities. And we were unable to broadcast this evening's activity at Grand Mall. Of course, they did not have an internet stream for us to carry. If there was an internet stream, you know, definitely we would be carrying it. But there was no stream, so we were unable to carry that particular one. Yeah. But you know us already, yeah? We just make sure and carry. Once it's there, we make sure and try and carry it, yeah? So I think that's about it. I have everything ready and working properly and so on, and all who's supposed to be on. Good night to the listeners via 92.9 out there in Sister Isles of Carriacou. Those of you listening via We Noise Radio, folks, let me know if you're hearing us on 91.9, 91.5. Let me know if you're hearing us on 92.9. Just want to make sure, give me a call, let me know where you're hearing us. Those of you joining us online, we say a special good night to you. Those of you joining us via Facebook and YouTube, we can't do the roll call tonight, we're already late. But of course, let me say good night to Zayla. No, I must say my good night to my Zayla, yeah? Good night to you, Zoe. Good night to you, Exalia. Good night to you, Deshawn. Good night to you, Namara and Neela. Nadine, Jason, and Shirley out there in London. Hey, Jocelyn, good night to you. Officer Mary and Winston, good night to both of you. Mr. Roy and Miss Ermelin, good night to both of you. So folks, remember this Saturday it's taking place in Grand Roy, just around the Grand Roy Medical Station, the St. John branch of the New National Party. They'll be having that oil down sale. In fact, you know what? Let me see if I can pull it up for you to see what I'm talking about and thing. Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up. Yes, so the St. John branch of the New National Party, they will be having their oil down and cake sale. Yes, so that will be taking place this Saturday out there at just around the Grand Roy Medical Station. All right, so price of the oil down only $20. They're starting at roughly 11:30, so you can have your lunch. All right, so that's the NNP branch, St. John. And of course, they're having that oil down, and you can also get your cake and thing to go home with. You ain't eating the oil long and cake, I know about that one, right? So you're getting the cake to carry home, you're getting the oil long to have, and they're going to have drinks and sale, and so on. So that's going to be taking place this Saturday out there in St. John, in particular in Grenada, close to the medical station. So you can go out there and be part of that one, yeah? Also remember, this Saturday, the St. Andrew Southeast NNP Youth Arm, they present their Beach Lime at Hope Beach. So that's going to be this Saturday starting at 10 a.m. So you could, you go, you check the youth and them on the beach and thing. Yeah, so they have free waters and oil long up on that side. So if on that side, you're getting free waters, free oil long, but you have to, you could lime and thing, buy a little something in the bar. They have barbecue on sale. So after you eat your oil long, you could, some barbecue and so, a well-stocked bar. So that starts at 10 a.m. The St. Andrew Southeast Youth Arm, they have that one coming up this Saturday. Yeah, nice. And of course, the NNP Big Lime is taking place at the Grenada playing field. Yes, March the 31st, that's Easter Saturday from 11 a.m. until, right? I see they say 8:30 p.m. We saying until. What do I? We staying later than that, 8:30. I'm going. Anyway, so it's taking place, the NNP Big Lime. So they're going to have music by various popular DJs. They're going to have games, draft board games, other games taking place. And so food and drinks on sale. So that's the NNP Big Lime. That's going to be taking place at the Grand Mall playing field. And that's going to be Saturday, the 31st of March, right? Is it Saturday or that's a Sunday? I have to make sure, if Saturday is it's either the Saturday or the Sunday. We're going to make sure, I have to make sure on that one. Next thing I say in Saturday and it's the Sunday. I believe it's the Sunday actually. It's the Sunday, not the Saturday, the Sunday, so Easter Sunday. So once again, that's the NNP Lime. It's taking place Easter Sunday. Yes, so that's going to be taking place at the Grand Mall playing field Easter Sunday. All right, nice. So looking forward to seeing you all there. Definitely I'll be there, God's willing. Nice, yeah. Then you also have DNG in conjunction with the New National Party presents their garden party. That's taking place Easter Monday. All right, and it's going to be 5 p.m. until 11 p.m. Exotic food prepared by a professional chef and premium drinks. And listen, when they tell you premium drinks, no joke thing. They just had the real deal there. Nice. Music by a live band. And no live band that day and you ain't go shake a leg. You're shaking leg, you're shaking toe, you're shaking hand, you're shaking weave, you're shaking everything. Nice. So live band. That's going to be taking place at 1 Cheney Lane, Lansapine, St. George. Tickets cost for a single $300 and for couples $500. Yeah. So those of you that were there last year, you remember how wonderful it was. Yes, so it is continuing this year. That's DNG in conjunction with the New National Party presents the Garden Party. And that's going to be taking place Easter Monday at 1 Cheney Lane, Lansapine, St. George. Nice? Yeah. Folks, and one more in the announcements. The PD4 Village Group of the New National Party, St. David, they've got their barbecue taking place. And that will be taking place on Easter Saturday. This one is taking place on Easter Saturday. And the price, barbecue pigtail, $20. You want the barbecue chicken, $15. And so bread roast, green salad. That'll be taking place in Vole Gap, Windsor Forest, St. David, next to Paul's shop. And it will be starting at 11 a.m. So the barbecue luncheon of the St. David branch of the New National Party, PD4 Village Group, that is going to be taking place at the Vole Gap in Windsor Forest on Easter Saturday. Barbecue pigtail, the real thing. $20. And barbecue chicken, $15. You're going to get your green salad, you get your rolls and thing, drinks on sale. Nice. You're going to be a nice vibe. Once you St. David is always a nice vibe. Nice? Yeah.
In this world, to live up to your expectation, neither are you in to...
Folks, please take note. Remember, we still have a wanted man on the run. I don't know if he's running, if he's driving, you hearing all kind of stories. Let me say this though. If you all have spotted the individual that the police are looking for, and I don't know what I've done with his picture tonight, but it's supposed to be here somewhere. If you have spotted the individual, I think the thing for you to do is to call the Royal Grenada Police Force. To quietly, immediately call the Royal Grenada Police Force. Let the police do the work. When you go and you throw it on social media and you say, well, we hear in we area, and you hear one, you're causing panic among the people in your area or the area where you're saying he is, that you're causing panic in those areas. Two, if he has gone to that area to meet a contact of his and they recognize that he has been spotted in the area, he's going to leave, he's going to escape. So the safest thing to do, the smartest thing to do, is not to jump on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and WhatsApp and start to send messages, well, we hear he in this area and we hear he in that area. No, that's not helping the situation. Because in the same way that you've gotten that information, he most likely will get that information too. And what you have done is created that tunnel for him to escape. So if you believe you have seen the individual, please immediately take the shortest route. Call 911. If you believe that you have seen the individual, this individual, leave on date, immediately call the Royal Grenada Police Force. Call the emergency hotline. Call 911, or if you've got the number for your nearest police station, call them. Give them a description of what he's wearing or what he's carrying with him. If you recognize that he's driving, you're hearing some people talking about driving. If he's driving, give a description of the vehicle in which you've seen him moving around. Whatever it is, give the police the information so that they will be able to immediately set up a roadblock, or so he wouldn't know that they know he's in that area. So they can quickly set up a roadblock. They might even do it with the normal police vehicles. They may do it with unmarked vehicles, whatever. But they would be able to capture him. But if we keep telling him, well, we see him here, because we're telling him, when you send out the WhatsApp message and you say, well, look, we see him in this area, and then newspapers jump on it, oh, he's in this area and so on. I even made the mistake of doing it last night and mentioned an area, which I should not have done, and I apologize. I should not have done that. But if you see him in your area, call the police. Call the police and let them know. That's who you have to call. Not Ghostbusters. Not the newspapers. Call the police and let them know. I've seen him. He's wearing this and he's wearing that. I believe I've seen him. He is heading this direction. He is carrying a knapsack. He's carrying whatever it is. Call the police. Give as much details as you can give. Let them know how long ago you've seen him. Whether it was 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 3 minutes ago, heading whichever direction. Let them know. And in that way, they will be effectively able to use the information you have given them to try and find this individual. So once again, leave on date is still wanted by the police. He has escaped lawful custody. He's currently on a charge for capital murder. And he is to be considered armed and dangerous. That's the next thing. Don't play, go in and try to hold the man and all kind of thing. The man done on one murder charge. He mightn't mind going on a second one. So please, safeguard yourself. If you see him, don't try to approach him and say, well, all you go in and try and hold him down and that. Just call the police. They will deal with the situation. RRU, SSU, whatever it is, CI, they will come. Yeah? Once they can confirm, they will come. They will get the individual. All right? Nice. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. And again, I would like someone to call and let me know if you're hearing me. I know last night we had a problem with one of the frequencies. Let me know which of the terrestrial radio stations that you're hearing us on. Let us know. All right? Yeah. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program.
Promises we won't say it is. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain.
It is Talking Tuesday.
You now refrain.
But we do not have a guest in with us tonight. Yeah. We'll make sure we fix that for next week. We have a caller online. Good night. Hello, good night. Hi, caller, you're live. Go right ahead.
Hello?
Yes, caller, you're live. Go right ahead. We can hear
Hello?
you. Yes, we can hear you, caller. Go right ahead.
We're hearing on 91.5.
Okay, great. Thank you so very much. All right. Thank you.
91.5.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yes, so you are hearing me on 91.5. That's absolutely wonderful. Right? Yes. So Sister Isle. Anyone in the Sister Isle, give me a call. Let me know that you're hearing me. Yeah? My good brother Nimrod Oliver. Yeah, I know Nimrod Oliver after the press conference today. Usually, myself and Nimrod Oliver would have had an extensive conversation in relation to the matters discussed a bit earlier. But the problem is that, well, not problem, but he is doing other duties tonight at the meeting out there in Grand Mall. So he's out there tonight. So he cannot join us online tonight. Well, actually, he can join us, but you had to listen on the outside and think. He can't come on with us tonight. All right, so good night to you, my brother. Hope everything is going all well and okay. Sherma Alexander, good night to you out there in Canada, Calgary to be exact. And good night to you, Patricia and Matthew. Yeah, out there in Canada as well. Ian, good night to you. Yeah, and I listened with great intent to the press conference today. I listened to the press conference today. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play bits and pieces of the press conference. I know some people don't like to see it. I'm going to play bits and pieces of the press conference. And we're going to discuss the bits and pieces that I play. All right? So we're going to play bits and pieces of today's press conference. I know many of you may not have gotten an opportunity to listen to today's press conference. So what I shall do is I shall play bits and pieces of today's press conference, and then we'll discuss the bits and pieces that I am going to play. All right, so let me just get, let me see if I can get the first one here. Nice. You know, I always have this problem where, right, so that part is silent. So let me just make sure I get it up and I get it ready so that you all will be able to effectively hear what I am playing. All right, great.
On that. The National Security Steering Committee, so let me make sure you get it right. It's a National Security Steering Committee. The committee is being chaired by me. I can't give you the specific names of all of the persons who make up the committee, but we can get that to you because it's a pretty large committee. As I said, it's made up of representatives from a broad cross-section of government entities and agencies, from the airport to the port to customs to immigration to NADMA, to the Prime Minister's office, to the Commissioner of Police, etc. So we will get the complete list of names, to members from the Attorney General's office, etc., and we will circulate that to you. The mandate of the steering committee essentially is to get to the point where it can make recommendations to the government for the actual creation of a National Security Council and the mechanism and the institutional framework for doing so, whether it's a statutory body, whether it's a department of the government, etc. Those are some of the things it is tasked with doing. I don't have the exact date that it was approved by Cabinet off the top of my head, but that can be supplied, as well as the duration of the steering committee. I believe initially it's for 1 year or until it's able to fulfill its mandate of making the recommendations to the Cabinet. But I can, through the Press Secretary, provide you with very specific responses on the actual names of the committee, the date it was approved by Cabinet, and its detailed mandate.
Now, folks, the Prime Minister is speaking there about the same question that we've been asking for the past few weeks. We've been asking, where is the National Security Council? We were told in September of 2023, can't remember the exact day in September, but it was in the teens. In September of 2023, on discussing many of the murders, etc., that had gone on in Grenada by that point in time, the shootings and so on that had taken place, the Prime Minister of Grenada announced to the people of Grenada that there was the formation of a National Security Council, not steering committee, to form a council. He said that out of Cabinet, they had, in fact, you know what? Let's go back to what he said then, and I should have it somewhere here. Let's go back to what the Prime Minister said.
Cabinet has appointed.
And let me just bring it up here. And let me get rid of this. All right, let me just make sure I have it properly here. Nice.
A Security Advisory Council. We intend to have the Cabinet has appointed the formation of a National Security Advisory Council. We intend to have the council.
Again, this was in September of 2023, and he was speaking of the formation of a National Security Council. Today, when journalist Linda Straker asked, she asked about the National Security Council, not a steering committee. She asked about the National Security Council, the same one that he's announcing here.
It has appointed the formation of a National Security Advisory Council. We intend to have the council constituted. And the first order of business that it will be mandated to do is to carry out a series of national consultations, which we hope to commence in October. Throughout.
Well, that was October 2023. So, folks, were you all part of or knew of any consultations that took place in October, November, December, January, February, or in March now with the National Security Council? Because according to the Prime Minister in September, by October, the Council was supposed to have had meetings in relation to the issues at hand. Let's hear what else he had to say. That was September. Remember, this is September last year.
Tri-Island State, with all of our stakeholders, looking at this question of national security, looking at how we can begin to implement the necessary policy and programs that treats with ensuring that as a nation, we do not view violence as a means of conducting ourselves or as a means of resolving our disputes or conflicts. We intend to back this up by contracting with specialists in the area of behavioral science that could address, particularly for young persons and particularly your young men, how we treat with mediating our differences and disputes amongst ourselves, amongst our family members, and amongst our villages. Because one of the clear things that is obvious about the acts of violence is that oftentimes the perpetrators and the victims know each other. Oftentimes they are either related or they're from the same villages or neighboring villages. And many times it escalates into acts of violence that may lead to maiming, injury, or worse, homicide. The government will also be constituting a project team to advise the government on the implementation of CCTV cameras throughout significant public areas and hotspots in Grenada. The government is already in possession of the CCTV cameras. We intend to obviously do the necessary feasibility studies to have them erected at many of the major urban centers and public gathering places where the public meets, from the market square, the main bus terminals, the areas that are heavily trafficked by the public, as well as other areas where we may be vulnerable, particularly in some of our...
Now, remember, he has said that the government already has in their possession these CCTV cameras. They've already got it in their possession. Yeah? And that they would have a team to do that. Now, probably the journalists may not have remembered that he made this statement in September of last year. But if you're addressing issues in relation to crime taking place right now, I believe it was important for Grenadians to have an update as to what is taking place with the CCTV cameras and all of the other issues that he raised there. There was supposed to be the National Security Council. There's supposed to be various things, but then he's changed it. Now it's a steering committee. So they don't have a National Security Council, and he can't give it the names. No, he's the chairman. Notice he said he is the chairperson. In fact, let's go back to what he said today. You've heard what he said in September. Let's go back to what he said today.
That's the response on that. The National Security Steering Committee, so let me make sure you get it right. It's a National Security Steering Committee. The committee is being chaired by me. I can't give you the specific names of all of the persons who make up.
So if you are chairing a committee, you're telling me you don't know who are the people that are in the committee and that you've come to speak on the issue of national security. You have a National Security Steering Committee, and you did not think it wise to at least walk with the name. Who it is advising you in relation to... Prime Minister, who advising you in relation to these things? Really and truly. Because you are going to a meeting to speak about national security. You have a National Security Council or Steering Committee or whichever one you decide to call it today or tomorrow, because apparently things does change day to day with when you're talking about things. So whether it's a National Security Advisory Committee or so, and you're saying that you don't know the names of the individuals, is it that that committee has not met, or that the committee might be a committee in name only, or that there has not been a proper meeting, or there are no continuous meetings of this committee or steering committee or council or whatever you decide to call it? Is it a situation where they're not meeting? Because I can understand how you don't know the names of the individuals in it. You couldn't at least call 4 or 5 and say, well, this person representing and that person representing, but there's something deeper in that. So let's hear the rest of what the Prime Minister had to say today.
Committee, but we can get that to you. Because it's a pretty large committee. As I said, it's made up of representatives from a broad cross-section of government entities and agencies, from the airport to the port to customs to immigration to NADMA, to the Prime Minister's office, to the Commissioner of Police, etc. So we will get the complete list of names to members from the Attorney General's office.
Isn't NADMA already under the Prime Minister's office? So the Ministry of National Security is under the Prime Minister's office. NADMA, if I'm remembering correctly, is under the Prime Minister's office. And the Prime Minister's office is under the Prime Minister's office. So he call himself 3 times? Or you have 3 people from his own ministry representing him? I ain't sure, but anyhow.
Etc. And we will circulate that to you. The mandate of the steering committee essentially is to get to the point where it can make recommendations to the government for the actual creation of a National Security Council and the mechanism and the institutional framework for doing so, whether it's a statutory body, whether it's a department of the government, etc. Those are some of the things it is tasked with doing. I don't have the exact date that it was approved by Cabinet off the top of my head, but that can be supplied, as well as the duration of the steering committee. I believe initially it's for 1 year or until it's able to fulfill its mandate of making the recommendations to the Cabinet. But
so let's just go back to that. He isn't even sure how long the committee is around for. I mean, come on now. Just say, okay, we're working on getting the committee together. Just say that. All right, this kind of back and forth, and we're going to get the press secretary to send and all sorts of things. If you've had, since September of last year, as we were told the National Security Council last year, if you've had a National Security Council together since last year, by now there ought to have been several recommendations for implementation that should have been taking place. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Hi, good night. Go right ahead, caller. You're live.
Good night, Mr. Scott.
Good night. Go right ahead.
Yes, Mr. Scott, I'm listening to you there now with the formation of the Prime Minister of the National Security Committee. While he doesn't know the names, he have not selected no member of the opposition to serve on a steering committee.
That is for
You
sure.
have not. He have not tell you, and he's still telling us that it could be for a year. No, I mean that's craziness. If you put in a steering committee, at least you should be able to see how long you expect the steering committee. You can't tell us it could be for a year until you have things under control. Also. I mean, come on, you can't tell us the names of the person. The Prime Minister should go to that conference this morning, press conference, with the names of the persons and how you select them. You select the head of this person because of that. You select the head of that person because of that. I'm not impressed.
Neither
I'm
am
definitely
I.
not impressed. I think the Prime Minister have to do better than that.
All right, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Somebody just messaged me, Pennsylvania. Good night. They said the steering cut the vehicle going off the road. I don't know. But let me say, and somebody just reconfirmed that for me here a short while ago. The CCTV cameras he was referring to in September of last year were brought in during the reign of the new National Party. You know, it's not them went and say, well, we need CCTV cameras and we're going and get them. They were brought in during the time of the new National Party, and they were supposed to be installed by now. There was a plan, a strategy of how they were going to be utilized. That is why they were purchased. You didn't just purchase them and put them down and say, well, now we go try and think about where we're going to put them. There was a strategy of how these CCTV cameras ought to be used. In fact, something like that could help you to identify people like missing prisoners and so on all now. But this administration held up the entire thing. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Good night, sheldon.
Good night, sir.
I'll be very short and frank. I was not.
Be Winston now. Don't be Frank. Be Winston. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I was not impressed with the Minister of National Security calling out officer's name. I was not impressed with. This is why I call a whistle dog blowing. This is dangerous, Mr. PM. Please do better next time. Mr. Minister of National Security, please do better next time. What it did there was very, very dangerous. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you. And I tend to agree because the names of various officers, unfortunately, were called out today. And as far as I'm concerned, the bigger heads are the ones that are supposed to pay the price. That is as far as I'm concerned. Yes, disciplinary action must be brought to the lower levels. But again, as I've always said, and I always repeat, I've learned, over the years I learned this. And I learned it from Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. I learned it from Emlyn Pierre, working directly with her. When something goes wrong, you start with you, the boss, and work it back. You don't start down there and then stop it before it reaches to you. You start down there and work it back. We have a call online. Good night.
Good night, Senator Scott. Good night.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Bro, listen to the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister, something is wrong. The Prime Minister was trying to be so calm to figure out what he's going to say. And even when someone asked him about the police and the situation, what's going on with the deputy and also the commissioner of police, and he was trying to explain, right now, you guys don't expect to see a new commissioner within 24 to 36 months. I hope you have that there. 24 to 36 months. That's what he's telling us. You know, and I find that song real awful. Because you have two men who does not, to me, understand what's going on. You saying they retire, and you're talking about everybody come and join the force at the same time. So everybody retire at the same time. That is foolishness. Nowhere everybody join the same time. You know? So Mr. Prime Minister, do a better job than that. People come, people go. You know, you're always trying to push the blame on someone else. You have to take responsibility. Look how little you talk about the two people who lost their life. I hope Grenada was listening to that. And you in your statement, you're using it like we making a noise about two foreigners. I hope the rest of the world listen to what you said. And when his Grenadians might die in that situation, we don't making such an alarm. You understand? Remember the young man who lost his life down on the beach in BBC? We make a big alarm about it. You understand? And you is saying that we doesn't make no big alarm. And for you, as the Prime Minister, that not concern you much about the two people who lost their life. Go back, Grenadians, and listen to what he's saying. It is a fit to be a leader. Don't make everybody laugh at us. Let them laugh at you. But everything you're saying it off key. Off key. Have a good one, Sheldon.
All right, thank you. 440-737. So if I didn't want to nearly do that, I nearly cut the stream. 440-737. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. Let me just clear the line. Yeah, that's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. So he has a steering committee that he announced there's a steering committee to form the council that he told us was already formed last year. Yeah? Because remember, Cabinet has formed a National Security Council advisory body, and now you have a steering committee to form the council. Yeah? So all kind of 440-7377. Before I play some more clips, let me take our next call. Hello, good night.
Yes, Sheldon, good night. This is first time caller again.
Okay, thank you.
I really do not understand what the Prime Minister speak about it today. I listen piece of it and I still didn't understand anything. So I would like you to kind of explain a little more about that.
Okay, my friend, no problem. All right, thank you.
All right,
thanks.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do tonight. We're trying to decipher. Like, okay, so that was the National Security Council. Let's move to our next issue. We'll circle back. We're going to circle back. And someone is asking then why about the names of the police officers? Now, I'm going to say this. In fact, you know what? There's a clip that I have to play, and then I'll circle back to that particular one. But let me play this clip first. Let me play this one. So this is a different issue. And let's just play this one, and then I'll come back to that other issue.
X month or X years. The idea is we've asked the retiring officers to come back, and in many instances they're either on 1 or 2 year contracts. The idea being that they will assist us with, in fact, planning that transition and that succession that is required. And part of that will require, in a sense, a very determined and deliberate effort of cross-training of police officers at the mid-management level across all facets of policing. From management, administrative, HR, operations, crime, intelligence, border security, etc., cyber security, human trafficking, all of the gambit, to get to the point where we have a sufficient core group of officers who can then transition to the point of moving from mid-management to senior management. So that's sort of the idea. As part of that, it will actually require deliberate training courses and so on being offered to the police officers so that we can facilitate that. And that's part of what we're planning together with the National Training Agency or other institutions so that we can facilitate these courses, or partners outside of Grenada, for example, the police training school in Guyana, the RSS, all of that. So the idea here is that hopefully in 24 months, 36 months, we're at the point where sufficient police officers would have gotten exposure to that. The retirees can get to the point where they can actually be permitted to enjoy their retirement, and then we can have the next crop of senior police.
But there's not the same set of people that used to talk about the NNP bringing back a set of retirees. But there's something even more important that the Prime Minister has mentioned there, and I think you all need to listen once again.
Month or X years. The idea is we've asked the retiring officers to come back, and in many instances they're either on 1 or 2 year contracts.
They're on what? No, can't be contracts we just hear the Prime Minister say, especially 1 year and 2 year contracts. No, can't be that we just hear the Prime Minister say. No.
Come back, and in many instances they're either on 1 or 2 year contracts.
Mr. Prime Minister, no, that illegal. As far as we know, you the one that tell us that kind of thing illegal.
Officers to come back, and in many instances they're either on 1 or 2 year contracts. The idea being that they will assist us with, in fact,
So some of them on 1 year contract, 12-month contracts, and some of them on 2 year contracts. But I seem to remember that this same individual was telling us that contract work is illegal, innit? I remember the same individual that was saying that contract work is supposed to be illegal. Let's see if we could find that one.
3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract. It is unlawful. It is illegal.
It is what? No, can't be the same person that talking there. I mean, the voice sound familiar, but I ain't feel.
I don't need the World Bank to tell me that the figure has gone even higher.
Mitchell also addressed the issue of contract workers.
When you are placed on 3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract, it is unlawful. It is illegal.
So what the police officers, because there's the same individual that telling us here, and let's hear him again.
either on 1 or 2 year contracts. The idea being that they will assist us with, in fact, planning that transition.
No, but you the one that tell us during campaign that they're illegal, so you can't be having the people who's supposed to be upholding law and order in the country, you can't be having them on what you yourself have said are illegal contracts. No, only maybe we make a mistake.
We've asked the retiring officers to come back, and in many instances they're either on 1 or 2 year contracts.
They're on 1 or 2 year contracts. Yeah, my face would have look like that too. Yeah, my face might have looked like that too. Yeah, you understand? Because remember,
and if it is going to take another High Court judge to tell me that the figure has gone even higher.
Mitchell also addressed the issue of contract workers.
When you are placed on 3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract, it is unlawful. It is illegal. And if it is going to take another High Court judgment to say that the government of Grenada cannot treat its own citizens that way by breaking the law, then so be it.
So to put somebody on these kind of contracts, 1 year contracts and so, you should not be treating your citizens that way, and it is breaking the law. It is illegal. It's not me say so. It is the current sitting Prime Minister of Grenada who has made that pronouncement, yeah?
Contract workers.
When you are placed on 3 months contract, 6 months contract, 12 months contract, it is unlawful. It is illegal. And if it is going to take another High Court judgment to say that the government of Grenada cannot treat its own citizens that way by breaking the law, then so be it.
Just remember, that's the same person that's talking to you here, eh? The same person, yeah?
The idea is we've asked the retiring officers to come back, and in many instances they're either on 1 or 2 year contracts. The idea being that they will assist us with, in fact, planning that transition and that succession that is required. And part of that...
Yeah. The same people who talking about sending people Guyana and all sorts of things to train. Let me explain to you all. Over the years, police officers have been going to China. They've been going to the U.S. You've had Coast Guard officers who go to Barbados, Jamaica, the U.S. and other places on training. You've had officers from various departments who go to various training schools in the United States and in Europe and so on and do training. Members of the Royal Grenada Police Force. So this is not something new that they're trying to bring in. The Royal Grenada Police Force, within its ranks right now, have well-trained and competent people enough that the retirees can go home and these competent and capable people can carry out the work of the Royal Grenada Police Force. We have a call online.
Good night, Mr. Sheldon Scott.
Good night, sir. You go right ahead.
How are you doing, Mr. Sheldon Scott?
I'm good, man.
Mr. Sheldon Scott, just hearing the Prime Minister say something there, I don't understand what the Prime Minister is saying, you know. This Prime Minister is not talking the truth. He's telling lies, man. He's not talking the truth. You can't tell me that you're the Minister of Security And you don't understand that you want to get what with your document when you're coming to make people know that this is what you go talk about.
But it's an obvious
You
question.
say you don't understand the people down in community and the committee. You don't understand the people down in the committee. You can't remember the name. Dakin is lying for Grenadian. He stand up and lie to Grenadian. He got to stop now. I think this Prime Minister should do the best thing to resign. Take himself off and resign. This Prime Minister ain't not ready yet. Not ready yet, my friend. This is all I'm calling to tell you tonight.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Yeah, but anybody who knows the job of being involved in PR and so would know that if you're sending the Minister of National Security to speak to the Grenadian people, that you would have to make sure that he has this kind of information at his fingertips. And even if he doesn't have it in front of him, that it is in the room, that it could be passed to him immediately. Yeah? So that he could have it, or that even if it is not given during the press conference, that by the time the press conference ends, that information is right there at hand, that journalists, it can be emailed or journalists can have a hard copy or whatever it is of it to be able to leave. But you don't just... Anyway, let's hear something else that was said at that press conference this morning. Let's see what else. In fact, no, I don't think I'm ready for this one yet. Nah. Let me try this one. Let's see what else was said there this morning at that press conference. Yeah, no, contract work is illegal. In fact, no. Before I go to the next clip, let me just remind you all: contract work is illegal. So you're not supposed to be. Yeah, contract work is illegal. Let me see what is it there. Wait, is there? I think I have it somewhere here. Yeah, let's hear. Let's hear.
Into power, and the next day you're firing people. They will vote you out.
That's not the one. Yeah, it's somewhere here, man. I've got it here that contract work is supposed to be illegal and all that sort of thing. Yeah, don't worry, I'll get that one. But in the interim, let me play the clip for today. Oh, come on, clips. Come on, what are you doing to me? Yeah, everything's starting to get mixed up now. Right, everything's starting to get mixed up now. So I'm trying to find... Oh, here it is. Nice. Yeah. So let's hear what he has to say here.
Rafaria, the narrative. Good to see you, Prime Minister.
Same here.
I have a question that maybe the police commissioner might be best able to answer, but anyone can answer it. To what extent was the inexperience of the two police officers who were in the police station between 2:30 and 5 a.m., as well as the short staff? I understand that a large number of your men were not working at the time, sick leave and holidays that they were entitled to, contribute to the opportunity for the men to escape. During your investigations, did that play a role at all? Particularly the two officers who I understand were just barely out of training school.
Pleasant good morning to the viewing and the listening public.
Just note, this was the first word the Commissioner of Police got in that press conference after an hour and 7 minutes. It took an hour and 7 minutes before the Commissioner of Police was able to get a word in edgewise. But anyway, let's see how he answers if the two people that were there were not people that just come out of training school, properly trained, etc. Let's see how the Commissioner of Police answers that.
The supervisor at the time of the escape was a seasoned police officer.
The question wasn't about the supervisor. The question was about the two people that were there. If these two people were properly trained and so on. Yeah?
Being down under the department for more than 10 years. So we are comfortable that he had the necessary knowledge. We are comfortable that he was capable, had he obeyed the protocol. But we also have to back up that he, information revealed that he took over from a sergeant. So the question was he properly briefed? Was the prisoners, where they were housed, was it the best place? Had they been in their cell, respective individual cells, I see no problems in him being able to effectively do his job without the escape of the individuals.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So the two officers, the two junior officers, they have also been there among the 4 who have been charged also?
There's one junior officer that is being charged, and the charge against him was for not being honest, stating a falsehood.
Thank you.
But you still not answered the question. You were asked about the 2 individuals. You speak about the supervisor. You speak about everything else. The question was simply, and let me go back to the beginning for the question again. Yeah?
Good to see you, Prime Minister. I have a question that maybe the police commissioner might be best able to answer, but anyone can answer it. To what extent was the inexperience of the 2 police officers who were in the police station between 2:30 and 5 a.m., as well as the short staff? I understand that a large number of your men were not working at the time, sick leave and holidays that they were entitled to, contribute to the opportunity for the men to escape. During your investigations, did that play a role at all? Particularly the 2 officers who I understand were just barely out of training school.
Simple question. Simple question. Long-winded answer, and up to now we can't get an answer to that question. What we're hearing is one individual was part of a 6-week or so training course. The other was part of a 3-week training course. You can't blame them if you don't provide the proper training. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. One of the things I learned is that you have to look at yourself first. Did I provide enough training to the officers there? Did I put proper procedures in place and ensure that each and every officer at that location knew and understood the importance of, knew the procedure, understood the importance of the procedure, and knew why that procedure had to be carried out in the way that it was supposed to be carried out. So that if it wasn't carried out in that way, there would be consequences. Was that done? If that was not done, is the leadership to blame? The leadership has to take part of the blame. But it seems as though these individuals are busy trying to toss all the blame onto those officers who were on duty at that point in time alone and absolving themselves of any blame. The buck stops with you. You in charge. So something like that goes wrong. You cannot absolve yourself of all responsibility in relation to it. You have to take some responsibility as well for what went on there. So the journalist is simply asking, because it has been out there that the individuals who were at the facility and put in charge of these prisoners were not properly trained. That is being said out there in the general public. Yeah? So that is being said out there. As such, the journalist is simply asking, is that the case? Were these individuals properly trained? They go to London, they take a train and they go over to Germany, they end up in Sweden, they swim to Norway, then they go to Iceland, they cross over the Bering Strait and they end up in Canada, and then they walk all the way to Mexico and they still ain't answer the question. Yeah? Let's hear what else they had to speak about at the press conference. Somebody tell me stick to the press conference. You know, I just listen. Eh? Right, nice. So I'm sticking to the press conference. So let's hear what else was said here in relation to the press conference this morning. Yeah, because a lot was said, you know. So I just playing bits and pieces of it. Yeah, let me see if it making sense. Yeah, let's see if it making sense.
My first question, has anyone in the government or the police reached out to the family of the victims in the matter involving the escaped prisoners?
The Director of Public Prosecution, as far as I'm aware, have been speaking directly to the family of the persons who were impacted by the escape of the 3 prisoners.
So in other words, you're speaking about the sons of the two individuals that were murdered. And the Prime Minister of Grenada is telling you that he ain't pick up the phone and call these two guys. The Minister of National Security of Grenada is telling you, the general public, that he didn't find it necessary to pick up the phone and contact these two young men. One lost the mother, the other one lost the father, one lost the stepmother, the other one lost the stepfather. And he did not. The same two young men who are on every American major news channel, who are now appearing on major news channels in the UK and Europe. They ain't even speaking English in some of them countries, but I had them two guys on it talking and translating. Yeah? Throughout Latin America, etc., these guys are being put out there. And you're telling me that our Minister of National Security just say, well, in other words, I know my thing, somebody else deal with that. I ain't talking, I had to talk to them. So when he's asked the question, and let's play the question again, simply, not only himself, but anybody within the ministry, I mean, your Minister of Social Affairs and so on, supposed to be, you had to put a caring person in that position, not them. Your Minister of Foreign Affairs and try to reach out to these guys and say, well, we do apologize. Please understand, this is not the nature of Grenadians. We're not that type of people. And so the only way you're dealing with them is on the legal level with the technocrats within the legal department are the ones that are dealing with them. This is madness. I could tell you something though. I know Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Claudius Mitchell. I know him. He would have done speak to them guys long. The same week that the people went missing, he would have started speaking to those guys and been in touch, keeping them updated personally, so that they would know from the very top in Grenada somebody cares. Because right now we don't even, well, the search most likely has been abandoned by now, so there's no search going on. So you have to consider that these bodies most likely will never be recovered. At this stage, just face reality. More than likely these bodies will never be recovered at this stage. And you have the person who in charge of national security, the head of government for Grenada, saying that not only him, no member of his government has been in contact. But let's hear again. Now, maybe I heard it wrong.
My first question, has anyone in the government or the police reached out to the family of the victims in the matter involving the escaped prisoners?
The Director of Public Prosecution, as far as I'm aware, have been speaking directly to the family of the persons who were in.
So just the DPP, the Prime Minister, too good to speak to them. So he too, yeah. Minister of National Security, any other government minister, no, they're too good to, yeah.
By the escape of the three prisoners.
So you're speaking about people here who have lost their loved one due to actions of your police force. We know we have the best police force in the Caribbean, but even the best people make mistakes at times. Yeah? And the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, did not even find it necessary to apologize on behalf of the Grenadian people for what these individuals have done. He didn't even find it necessary to apologize. You see, when I talk about emotional intelligence, what I'm talking about, these are the kind of things that I'm referring to when I say that this government lacks emotional intelligence.
Victims in the matter involving the escaped prisoners?
The Director of Public Prosecution, as far as I'm aware, have been speaking directly to the family.
We have a call online. Go right ahead, caller. Go ahead, you're live.
Hello?
Yes, caller, go right ahead, you're live.
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Go right ahead.
Yes, miss. Yes, brother. Yeah, again, the Prime Minister dropped the ball again. The Prime Minister dropped the ball again, and the Commissioner of Police have not improved. I mean, it's a sad thing. That's the second press conference, and the Commissioner of Police have not improved, and the Prime Minister dropped the ball, because the Prime Minister should have sent a sympathy message to the parents or the family of these people. The Prime Minister or the state, even though he didn't do it directly, but a letter coming from Grenada from the family of these people on behalf of the Prime Minister and so that had to be done, and if that have not done, it should be done still. Come on, these people was more or less tourists in your country, and we can't find their body. And the Prime Minister say that the DPP have been in contact with them. That is not a work for the DPP alone. The head of state should hold responsibility. And we agree that the Prime Minister could not have done anything about it at the time. But again, a letter of sympathy should be sent to these people so they drop the ball again.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to lose the match.
All right, my brother. Thank you. Yes, folks, 4407377. At least, come on, you know what it is. I don't know what it's like, but I don't even want to imagine what it's like for someone to know that your mother and your stepfather, or even if you consider the person to be your father, but your parents, they're gone on vacation, and you believe that they've worked so hard their whole life, they're enjoying themselves, only to hear this sort of thing happen to them. And when you're starting to hear details being put out now, I don't know if the details are true, if they're not, but you're starting to hear details being put out now through news media in Grenada of what took place on that boat before the death of these individuals. And you're telling me that no senior official within the government of Grenada, up to this point in time, some 23 or so days later, none have found it necessary to speak to the family? Only the DPP? The DPP must speak with them. That is the legal person who is dealing with the case and dealing with different matters in relation to the case. And when they have to put forward their case in the court in relation to this particular issue, they would definitely need to be in contact with the family to gather information from them. So in other words, it's only the DPP that's speaking with them? Mr. Prime Minister, you need to change or fire advisors. Starting with the advisor in the Ministerial National Security, you need to change and fire.
My first question, has anyone in the government or the police reached out to the family of the victims in the matter involving the escaped prisoners?
The Director of Public Prosecution, as far as I'm aware, have been speaking directly to the family of the persons who were impacted.
And he's not even sure, as far as I am aware. So he's not even sure. Yeah, he's not even sure.
As far as I'm aware, have been speaking directly to the family of the persons who were impacted by the escape of the 3 prisoners.
Do you have another?
Yes, indeed, folks. 4407377. Yeah, 4407377. That is the number for you to call and get onto the inside. Let's hear something else they talk about. Yeah, let's hear something else. Let me see if I could find something else that they talk about today. We deal with the press conference today. Let's hear something else that they talk about at the press conference. Let's see if we can find that.
To repeat your first question?
Yes, I'll just like to know if the officers that are being charged, if they're going to be suspended, and if it's going to be half pay, no pay at all, full pay.
The answer to that is no. They would continue on duty through the disciplinary process.
And you see, that's the thing again. Yeah? It doesn't sit well with me in a sense that you are accusing officers, you've charged officers, but the officers are still on the job. Make it make sense. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Hi, good night.
Hi, good night, caller.
Trinidad again.
Hey, Trinidad, how are you doing?
Good, real good. I'm listening again as usual.
All right, you go right ahead.
2 points. One, with regards to the same issue, speaking about the foreign nationals and the incident that took place, well, is a criminal investigation. There's a protocol in place, apparently. I feel that your Prime Minister and the government don't know the protocol with regards in connecting with people in foreign lands. The Prime Minister should have instructed the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who would have contacted his ambassador, and the ambassador would have reached out to the other people, the kids in this place. That's one. Secondly, in some law, in different nations have different law with regards to stating someone is dead where there is no body and no physical human body or the remains of a human body that is not found. So if these siblings of these or the offspring of these two persons are underage, you know what financial crisis they will be going through until being an adult. That's a terrible situation to even think of. Secondly, after listening to the reason or the justification for the strength on the night of the incident around the morning time, the handover has problems in it because one, if you do not have the physical handing over strength, there's supposed to be no handover by the previous shift. So the problem started in the handing over. Now, if you are saying you have two junior constables that now come off the academy or the training college or wherever you all do your training, this doesn't add up, and this is glaring that something went wrong or somebody in high office should have been held accountable if a proper investigation was done. If a proper investigation was done, it would have reared heads that, hey, do you not think that this was timely to just have two junior constables on a shift that didn't know what was going on, and these three men escape? Is it not someone is not thinking, could this have been pre-planned, that everybody stayed home and asked to leave and that kind of thing? I have those thoughts in my head, and it is very worrisome. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm interested in Grenada, I have told you before, I have a daughter in Grenada, and I have till say listening to Grenada. You understand?
Of course.
So those are my thoughts.
Don't worry, we're still the safest in the Caribbean. Eh? We just have to deal with the little elements before it gets out of hand.
You still are, and I'm very proud of it. That's why we chose Grenada. You understand? But my mind spins me listening to these explanations by government officials. I wonder what are their credentials? What is hanging up on the wall? Nothing? Come on. This doesn't really add up. This is really unwarranted publicity for the nation of Grenada. Unwarranted. Somebody should have been sent on administrative leave from the Royal Grenada Police Force. Somebody should have been sent on administrative leave. Thank you. Good night.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. And one listener is saying the DPP would have spoken to the family on a legal basis, not to express sympathy on behalf of Grenada. And that's true. Yeah. He would definitely speak to them on a legal basis. This is what is going on. This is what we need from you all, etc., etc. Yeah? But he cannot be there expressing sympathy on behalf of the people of Grenada. Something is definitely wrong. We've got a caller online. Good night.
Sheldon Scott, good night. Good night. Yes, good night, Mr. Scott, and good night to the Grenadian people. Mr. Watts, Patricia, Matthew, Darlington Chase, my son Gat, who's listening all South Carolina. Good night to you all guys. And all those in Brooklyn and New York, Darlington, Sheila, everybody. Dada in Brooklyn, good night. Sheldon.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I just, I'm not feeling so well, people. I don't know if I will make it now, but my stomach.
So it didn't ease up?
Maybe from all the different medication, pain medication, I get in a sector on my chest. First of all, let me say something. I don't like to see Dick Mitchell on my television, but I listen to the conference. You understand? I just wanted to hear what he had to say. So my stomach got paining me, and I watch and I listen. This man, no advisor have to advise him. Nothing to apologize to the parents, the people, children, because Grenadians say he's a bright man, he's a bright lawyer, very intelligent lawyer. So no advisor. Mr. Thompson don't have to tell him nothing to make his staff write a letter and email it to the people and apologize for what happened in this country as a prime minister. Okay? Number one, it was his daughter that somebody take on a boat and kill. Maybe that's secret, you not like that. So, watch, what I want to say tonight, they might send the police for me, but I will say what to say. Mr. Prime Minister, that is not no Prime Minister for Grenada. That man is not a good man. Because you want to tell me that you have mother, you have girlfriend. You have girlfriend, you have friends. And you lock somebody like somebody kidnap them, they kill them. They don't get a body. And you don't say, Lord, you're sorry. You don't say you're sorry. Mr. Nelson, you depending on? No, Dick, you're not a good man, you're not a good guy. You're not a good guy. I mean, he hurt my heart. He hurt my heart for these poor people. You understand? He hurt my heart for the young lady that died in Carriacou. I don't know these people. That is not right. But he had Grenadians that use the Papa God. It should have happened to some of your children or one of your family. I know all you will be balling in the road. Or you will be talking on all media houses. It was one of you, these people that are wrong you, that happened to the brother or the sister or the daughter. They will be on all media houses in Grenada. Or it was under Kit Mitchell government, under the NNP government at the time. Everybody will jump up. A bunch of hypocrites in this Grenada Carriacou Pity Matnip. All is a bunch of hypocrites. And all you can't do me nothing. Because the same organization all is, I did too. If all you ain't large, they ain't large too. So I don't pray all you. I don't pray all you. All you too bad mind. All these bad mind people have to be very careful. Have to be very careful with all you. You're not a good man. And it's good for us to vote and put you there. I didn't vote for you, but the people that vote and put you there, it's good for them and it's shame they're not speaking. Nobody just say nothing. Oh God, America will deal with all you. America. Biden and them go deal with y'all. All you go deal with y'all. You go deal with all you. That is America, you know. They just dig up their cases for years. I just watch and solve mystery cases on my television. They go deal with all you. Not an apology letter to the people, family. It's a sin. Sheldon, good night to you all. Good night to the Grenadian people. Good night.
Good night, Carrie.
I can't use big words like some of y'all, but I speak how I could speak in my language. All these wicked people, boy. He alleged you to get married just now.
I know.
He's alleged, eh? That's what I heard. God forbid something happen to you, loving one, wanted, intending wife. How you gonna feel?
Carrie?
How you gonna feel? Good night.
Good night, my love. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Before I take another call, let me see if I could play a next one from today. Yeah, it's very interesting listening, because, yeah. Papa,
We are therefore, we have laid before the cabinet for its approval with a timeline of taking to Parliament this month of March.
All right, and I'll give preference to the phone calls. Hello, good night.
Yeah, hello, good night, Sheldon.
Good night, caller. You're live. Go right ahead.
Yeah, yes. Well, right about now, I'm so fed up now, Right about now, I'm just calling on the Minister of National Security and Prime Minister to hand in his resignation forthwith, also the Commissioner of Police, and also the Cabinet of Grenada, because they embrace our country so much, both regionally, both locally, regionally, and internationally. All right, Mr. Sheldon, I call upon them to resign, and the country should follow me too. Thank you.
All right, my brother. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. I wonder, wait now, what do you think now? I was just playing. Okay, we'll play this one. I know that one go. Let me see if we could play our next one here. Nice. Yeah, let me see if we can play this one.
Prime Minister, in the Westminster-style government, individual ministerial responsibility is a constitutional convention that a cabinet minister bears. The ultimate responsibility for the action of the ministers or the subordinates. As Minister for National Security, are you taking ultimate responsibility for what has happened from the escape of the prisoners to what we see happening now?
I'm not sure I understand your question. Let me reiterate. The police are the ones responsible for the custody of prisoners. If police action leads to the escape of a prisoner or prisoners, the responsibility lies with the police. And I think we've demonstrated that in those circumstances, action will be taken in relation to the police. Ultimately, in a state, and as the Minister for National Security, the fact that I'm here speaking to the issue means that from a public perspective, yes, we accept responsibility for what has happened. But if you're asking me if I accept individual responsibility, obviously the answer is no.
How could you not accept individual response? You're the minister with responsibility. Well, you ain't had a responsibility. It says it in the name. The minister with responsibility for national security. Let's take this call. Hello, good night.
Good night.
Hi, good night, caller. Go right ahead.
Sheldon, the dead cannot speak about the dead. Man, if that man only mentioned dead in that conference or anybody talking to, spirit go even, dead can't talk about the dead. You got to break the golden egg. Dead cannot speak about the dead. People must realize that. Anytime bloodshed in this country, you have to have a candle village and them kind of things. People must watch them things. These are things we have to pay attention to. This man cannot talk about dead. He cannot talk about the spirit you're living with. You understand? That is what's going on in this country right now. Have a good night, sir.
All right, brother. Thank you. All right. Yeah, let's listen to this again. What do you mean you're not taking? You are the minister with responsibility for national security. When something goes wrong, especially at this level, at an international level, the buck stops with you. You have to take personal responsibility, because you have to take personal responsibility for what has happened and personal responsibility to ensure that it never happens again. And if you take your hands off it and say, well, me ain't taking personal responsibility, it says a lot about you, the individual. Tonight we're learning a lot, and I don't know if you realize that we're learning a lot about the person that holds the office of Prime Minister of Grenada, that up to now he has not contacted the family, refuses to take personal responsibility. Let's hear this caller. Hello, good night. Good night, caller. You're live. Go right ahead.
Yeah, good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Yeah, you have any clip that where Dr. Kip Mitchell say how Grenadian hungry after he pays some money and then he say Grenadian hungry?
That doesn't exist, so I wouldn't have it.
Because a girl was arguing with me when I was saying what the Prime Minister said that the hungry mouth and beggy and she telling me that Pichel say too after he pay some money.
Listen, don't make
say how Grenada hungry too and find out. I say, well, I never knew. He said that. She said, find out.
My dear,
he say
hold on.
So I say, well, I have to ask you
Caller,
if you have any clip to play that for
let me teach you.
To hear that Pichel say how we beg and hungry.
Hold on, caller. Let me teach you something, huh? You see the same way we would say something here and we play it one time? Anytime they say something and they are unable to play it, they are unable to prove it, they lie. Because that was not said. So they have to be able to play that. Yeah, and not AI created. They have to be able to say, this was on this day at this function. If they can't do that, they're lying. Because they throw all these things out there, but they have nothing to prove what it is they're saying. They're lying. Yeah? And don't let them take you and use you as the conduit now, because what some of them want to do, they want to do like a virus. They want to ride on you now to get to another host. So that's what they're trying to do. They would say those kind of things to you now to get you to bring it into your circle. Don't let them bring the virus into your circle. Inoculate yourself against them. Let it prove it. Yeah? Because that was not said. That's untrue. I can tell you directly it's not true.
No, I know they can't really do it, but I know she was lying. But that's why I said, let me ask you this question.
Yeah, no problem, my love. All right. Thank you so very much. All right. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. Let me hear the Prime Minister again there.
Westminster-style government, individual ministerial responsibility is a constitutional convention that a cabinet minister bears. The ultimate responsibility for the action of the ministers or the subordinates. As Minister for National Security, are you taking ultimate responsibility for what has happened from the escape of the prisoners to what we see happening now?
I'm not sure I understand your question. Let me reiterate. The police are the ones responsible for the custody of prisoners. If police action leads to the escape of a prisoner or prisoners, the responsibility lies with the police. And I think we've demonstrated that in those circumstances, action will be taken in relation to the police. Ultimately, in a state, and as the Minister for National Security, the fact that I'm here speaking to the issue means that from a public perspective, yes, we accept responsibility for what has happened. But if you're asking me if I accept individual responsibility, obviously the answer is no.
So the Prime Minister of this country, maybe that is the reason, and probably he's just given us the reason that he has not spoken to the family, because as far as he's concerned, I know your business is not me. Yeah? That is not me. But remember, this is not the first time that we've heard the Prime Minister not taking responsibility for certain things, and he doesn't understand that. Minister, and again, it says it in the name, Minister with responsibility for national security. When something goes wrong within that ministry, ultimate responsibility lies with you, the minister. It doesn't mean you have to pick up the minister and jail him. It doesn't mean that you have to throw the minister in the calaboose. It doesn't mean that you have to take the minister and send him into the States or something. No. It means that you have responsibility. And it is up to you now to say this failure has taken place. And it has taken place because of A, B, C, and D. Immediately, we're going to deal with C and we're going to deal with D. And in the medium term, we're going to address A. And then in the long term, we're going to address E. But overall, within this space of time, we are going to correct these deficiencies within the system. And me, as minister with responsibility for national security, I take full responsibility to ensure that the changes that need to be made will be made, and that what has to be done will be done in the right manner and in the shortest time possible, so we do not have a reoccurrence of what has happened. You can't just, well, me, you just don't take in blame. We have a call online. Good night.
Sheldon?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, I.
Listen, if somebody asks you a question and you don't understand the question, Wouldn't you ask them to repeat the question?
Yes, I would. I'd ask them to repeat the question, and sometimes it's a trick you use to, even though you understand. Supposed it's a trick, even though you understand.
So look.
Don't worry, that'll be fixed. The new equipment is here to set up.
Why you react everything if you don't understand the question? You're the person to repeat the question.
Mm-hmm.
But the Prime Minister understands the question, but he's trying to duck from the issue. But if you is the minister responsible for national security, this problem directly belongs to you. You have to handle it because we depend on you to handle it. And if you're telling me it is not your responsibility, whose responsibility? The commissioner ducking, assistant ducking, the Prime Minister ducking. Well, I mean, who secures it? Have a good night, partner.
All right, thank you. And you see, sometimes what he may be doing, and I've realized the Prime Minister does that several times. If he doesn't know how to answer something, he tries to give himself a couple seconds to come up with a response. So he would ask you to repeat the question. And in the period of time, he heard the question the first time, he understands the question, but he asks you to repeat the question. And he asks you to repeat the question because he's giving himself some valuable seconds there to come up with a response to what you have asked. Yeah? Or to test in his mind the response that he's going to give to make sure that it is a suitable enough response to give. Yeah? That's something I recognize with him. He hear you. He understand what you're asking, but he is going to ask you to please repeat the question, or I didn't understand clearly. He just says that, but meanwhile, he's working out how to respond to you in his mind. Yeah? Let me play it again for you. Let me play it once again for you.
Prime Minister, in the Westminster-style government, individual ministerial responsibility is a constitutional convention that a cabinet minister bears. The ultimate responsibility for the action of the ministers or the subordinates. As Minister for National Security, are you taking ultimate responsibility for what has happened from the escape of the prisoners to what we see happening now?
I'm not sure I understand your question. Let me reiterate. The police are the ones responsible for the custody of prisoners. If police action leads to the escape of a prisoner or prisoners, the responsibility lies with the police. And I think we've demonstrated that in those circumstances, action will be taken.
And he's the minister responsible for the police. The police responsible for the prisoners in that sense. He is responsible for the police. So he has to take responsibility. Well, he refuses to. We have a call online. Good night. Hello, good night. Okay, callers, when you call, just go right ahead because, yes, we do have issues with the board. I must let you all know that the new board is here. We just have to get one or two things for it and set it up, but the new board is definitely here. We'd like to thank each and every one of you, especially my two friends there that assisted to ensure that we get the board here. They don't want me to call their name, so I can't call their name. Who ensure that we get the board here. All right, we have a call online. Hello, good night.
Sheldon, just for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good night, again.
Yes,
Mr. Scott, did they get the prisoner from Grenada get away?
No.
Eh?
No. He's still missing.
They don't get that man?
No. He's still missing.
God have mercy. What's going on in Grenada? And tomorrow is March 13 there? Grenada and tomorrow is March 13. That couldn't even happen in the revolution, boy. What? That couldn't happen on the bishop neither.
Yeah. All right, my dear.
And before I go, I think everybody know Miss Kami and the terminal. I just help everybody. Yesterday, Mr. Scott, I have to speak about that. Yesterday, I give a young man some money to go to the and buy me some medication. And this is a young man. All them young guys and them on the bus terminal. I help them. I send the man to buy some medication. The man goes all me money. The man will come back with the medication. The man goes all me money up to the and that was the only money I had at the books. Because he paid me rent yesterday. Some medication.
That's not
the man goes me money up to now. I don't get it. Up to now. If I had to ask them to raise a case of water, I'd have give them a $5 and I pay him. I pay him to go and get the pharmacy and get some medication for me. The man go in the morning. Go with everything. Anyhow, that won't hurt me. Good night.
All right, Kemi. And my advice in situations like that will always be contact the Royal Grenada Police Force. Make an official report. This individual has absconded with my money. I gave them the money to do A for me, and they've absconded with my money. I need my money, or the individual needs to at least give an explanation, but merely what explanation? And again, it's to buy her medication. Why would you do a thing like that? She's a sick person. She sent you to buy the medication. Bring the lady medication for her, all right? Nice. In the morning, bright and early, bring the lady medication for her. We have a call online. Hello?
Hi, Sheldon. Good night to
Hi,
you.
good night.
Good night, Grenada.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Brother Sheldon, I'm listening to you. I did not have the opportunity to listen to the press conference today. But from what I'm hearing from the clip and all of that, Brother Sheldon, I'm baffled. I really don't know what's going on. And I am really sorry, that these crises are taking place under this administration. We've been praying that things like that would never happen. We've been praying, Almighty God. Because we know that these novice, excuse me, I respect the offices of these gentle people, but they're novice. They're learning the work they're learning the job as they work, and that's not, I remember when Dr. Mitchell had put out the call, people laughed at him when he said, go to school before you seek to become the jefe. Go to school, sit down in a class and learn, how to, the governance and how to lead. I've listened to my Prime Minister. The question was asked to him clearly, right? Has he accepted the responsibility given by the, as what Sister Linda, Miss Linda had read? And it's obvious that everything rises and falls on leaders. Everything, regardless what it is, my Prime Minister, you ought to take the responsibility, yourself and the Commission. Now, let's say, for example, let's take the crime that occurred, alleged still, because we're not too sure if they're dead, that those persons on the yacht. Okay? What happened there? What happened there? You still responsible. You are not the one that committed the crime, right? But if the United States of America Department of Legal Affairs would file a lawsuit, who you think they would file a lawsuit on? It would be on the government of Grenada. No one else would be on the government of Grenada. Then the police service would have to be responsible also, because the Minister of National Security ought to contact the police headquarters, right, and make sure that they are responsible alongside with him. I've been looking at what happened since this new administration come into office. This is John T. matter, right? And you could name a series of crimes and unwanted activities that took place thus far. You could just name them, right? Compare that now to the New National Party administration under Dr. Mitchell. Yes, we had crimes. We couldn't control some of the crimes, but of course it was lessened by far. It was lessened. And if you notice what's going on today as we speak, this prisoner is on the loose. And up to now, they can't find him. That person went as far as back the last caller, the revolution. But I say, under the New National Party's administration, I believe we'd have found this guy already, because the police, public relation system was well structured, right? The police was motivated. They were in good standing And you could have seen the leadership on the policemen, you know, even though you just come from training school. Yeah? No, my brother, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, and our heart goes out, you know, on behalf of the Christian folks in our country. Heart goes out, and our prayer goes out to the families of the bereaved, those who got killed, and you know, all this from the time this administration coming to. I don't know what payment, I don't know what it is happening in our country. But we need to retake this place. We need, listen, Grenadians, is no hatred, but we need to manage our affairs properly. In managing it, we need to take back our country. We need to take it back. And the only how we could take it back is by the ballots. So prepare yourself. You have your democratic right to choose the government that you want, that you see, or that you have seen led our country in a modest manner. You know, where Prime Minister could give a good answer for the questions asked for him. We had our commissioner clicking, sharp as a, you know, as a gourd, and he was able to punch it and give the answers, you know. Look at, we not have him anymore. He's in another territory, you know. So my brother, I rest it here, and I pray that, you know, things would look better coming up. I doubt, but we have to bring back the new National Party. Have a good night.
All right, thank you. Yes, indeed. Folks, I don't think I've answered one on the WhatsApp line for the night. Somebody give me a call on the WhatsApp. I don't know, because remember the system was down when I got in studio, so I'm not sure if it's working. I just want to make sure that the WhatsApp line is working, yeah? Yeah, I just want to make sure the WhatsApp line is working. Let's hear the Prime Minister again on responsibility. Yes, let's hear him.
Prime Minister, in the Westminster-style government, individual ministerial responsibility is a constitutional convention that a cabinet minister bears. The ultimate responsibility for the action of the ministers or the subordinates. As Minister for National Security, are you taking ultimate responsibility for what has happened from the escape of the prisoners to what we see happening now?
I'm not sure I understand your question. Let me reiterate. The police are the ones responsible for the custody of prisoners. If police action leads to the escape of a prisoner or prisoners, the responsibility lies with the police. And I think we've demonstrated that in those circumstances, action will be taken in relation to the police. Ultimately, in a state, and as the Minister for National Security, the fact that I'm here speaking to the issue means that from a public perspective, yes, we accept responsibility for what has happened. But if you're asking me if I accept individual responsibility, obviously the answer is no.
All right, folks, and we have a call online. Good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Yeah. Sheldon, I listen to the program, and I want to ask you a few questions. Maybe you could answer in your own way. I don't want to ask the people who is not responding and cannot answer questions. It don't make sense asking them questions.
Okay.
So when you were going to school and the teacher give you something to do or ask you a question, even if it's a something they give you to do and you don't understand, can you go ahead and you don't understand?
No. I asked for help to do it.
You don't understand, so you can't do the sum, right?
No.
So when my Prime Minister is saying he don't understand the question, but then he went straight ahead to answering the same question. So I'm really trying to understand that a Prime Minister who is well educated, well documented in whatsoever skills in lawyer and what that he has, but he does not answer a question, but still went on to answer the question and he don't understand. That is really, really, really puzzling. And I have another point to make as to where he does not want to take responsibility. No, I'm only giving scenarios here. It's just like having a Prime Minister with a cabinet with ministers. It's just like having a football team with a manager. And Sheldon, you know sports. I sure you never see no matter what happened with the football team, they never fire the football team. They always fire the manager, right?
Yeah.
In this case, this is just like you're the manager of the team. And if something go wrong and you, the manager, don't want to take blame, then you got to come out of the seat because you cannot manage.
Mm-hmm. Football season end and you hear this manager gone, that manager gone.
Definitely. Because and all the manager and all his staff have to go. The team always remains, which is the team and the people. No, you can manage. You got to give up your seat because you cannot manage. So how you the manager and you don't take the responsibility? What kind of manager are you? Tell them, we need to get rid of the manager because I don't want to put America or other countries like Grenada, but had it been, seeing that that is foreign national that is included in this, it had it been with a foreign police that situations like those occur. Whosoever is in charge, you don't have a child of step down, they step down.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we laws are totally different. So this is we getting all that is happening because I don't even think we are allowing Grenada because the law only governs for people that have money, not for those that don't have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, caller. 4407377. And yeah, if I was in school and they put a sum and I don't understand how to work it out, I have to go to the teacher and I have to try and understand. I have to find a way how to work it. I don't just go and answer it. I can't answer it. Yeah. We have a caller online. Good night. Hello.
Hi, good night.
Hi, good night, caller. You're live. Go right ahead.
Hi. Sheldon. Hi. I have a couple questions. I know you might not be the one to answer, but I have a couple questions. Now, there was an incident where some young people who were minors would have escaped the same South St. George police station. Do you know if any one of the officers that was on duty at that time will be charged, like formally charged for an incident that happened then? Or are they just using this 4% police officers to make Grenada look, to make the commissioner of police and the assistant commissioner of police look good, and also the Minister of National Security to look good, that they're actually charging them? But from the same South St. George police station, there was an incident where 3 persons would have escaped the South St. George police station, and nobody knew about it. And they kept all of that undercover. But now America is involved and everybody is involved. You make up charges to give to these officers that's not even in the law of Grenada. One of the charges is failure to do a cell check every hour. Now, if you have these new officers, we call them the newbies, did you taught them in training school that they ought to be making cell check every hour? Instead of that, you take them, you put them in training school for 6 weeks and you... Now, what could you learn in 6 weeks? Why wasn't the person in charge put them sit down and tell them every hour you have to do cell checks? But they unfair. Many other persons escape the same cell. And you're saying to them no, that they should have been doing cell checks every hour. Now you have a diarist and you have an assistant diarist, both of them on duty. So you do not have, both of them are newbies. Now, who is the person responsible for making cell checks? I just wish the come out and let the people know what is really going out in South St. George police station, because after this, no stone will be left unturned. And I just want to know that it's going to cost the state millions when the 4 police officers is finished with the state of Grenada. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. You know, after I hear that caller, I think we needed to send our caller in the press conference this morning, you know. Really and truly and honestly, I'm not saying this one as a joke or being sarcastic. That last caller, I think we needed to send her in the press conference this morning. I'm not saying that the media didn't ask good questions. I think that there were good questions from all of the media this morning. Yeah, I believe there was good questions from all of them. But you see that lady that called there? I think she need to go in. Yeah, next press conference, we send in that lady. We go find her. We send in that lady. We have a call online. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Scott.
Hi, good night, sir. How you doing?
Not too bad.
Hey, Devon.
Yes, my brother. Watch. I'm listening to the Prime Minister's response to Linda Straker. And you know, our Prime Minister is a trickster and a lying lawyer. And I'll tell you why. He said, okay, responsibility for the police because they have custody of the prisoner. Right? And he said, okay, yes, we take responsibility. And at the same time, he come back and said that he is not taking responsibility. I mean, what is going on? You already said that, yes, we take responsibility. So then why come back at the end and say that you're not taking responsibility? I mean, he thinks Grenadians are fools. I don't know. Every day when you think our Prime Minister would go low or lower, well, he go low. He's not high, up, you know. But it's down. Mr. Scott, have a good night.
All right, my brother.
All right.
Oh, boy, that's my good friend Devon. Yeah. Folks, 440-7377. We still have 8 minutes, man. We're using 8 minutes. We have 8 minutes left on the program, and we are going to utilize our 8 minutes. Folks, yeah, we still have some T-shirts. We still have some large, and we have some medium and some small. We do not have extra large. And we realize that's what a lot of people have asked for. Those of you in New York, you may be lucky to get some extra large from Nurse Maguire. Contact Wendy. Nice. You should be able to get some extra large from her. But we have no extra large on island. We do have some of the talking points T-shirts left. Mainly black. I think we have maybe 1 or 2 blue and 1 or 2 green. But large, medium, small. No extra large. We've got a... Okay, and we lost that call. I dialed it, took the wrong one. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Hi, good night, caller. You're live.
Yes. I'm calling from New York.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Talking point?
Yes, it is. You're live. You go right ahead.
Yeah. Sheldon, I'm trying to understand who is really talking the truth. Is it the Commissioner of Police or the Prime Minister? Hello?
We're hearing you. You go ahead. Go ahead. We're hearing you.
In the press conference by the Commissioner of Police, he was asked a question when he said that he spoke to the Prime Minister over a week ago. But today, in the Prime Minister's press conference, he said he was briefed immediately upon the escape of the prisoners. So I try to understand who is talking the truth.
Mm-hmm. You are correct, caller. There is some sort of discrepancy taking place there between what the Commissioner said and what the Prime Minister is saying.
Yeah, because the Commissioner said he spoke to the Prime Minister a week ago. But the Prime Minister is saying today in the press conference, he was briefed immediately upon the escape of the prisoners. So I'm trying to understand who is really talking the truth.
Yes, indeed.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much, caller. And you see how astute the listeners to talking points are, that they can pick up on these various things. Yeah? Not necessarily, not me pick it up. The listeners pick it up. Because when you listen to the Commissioner at what passed for that press conference last week, Monday, you heard what the Commissioner said in relation to when last he spoke to the Prime Minister. Now the Prime Minister is giving a different story. Yeah? But there's one more clip I want to play before I leave, because I'm not really going to deal with that tonight. But there's one more clip. Let me just see if my online manager, right? Okay, my online manager, right? Online manager in say anything, so I could go ahead and play this clip. I want to play one more clip because there's a particular issue that we have been speaking about, and I recognize that a question was asked in relation to that issue this morning. So let's see if we can take that one as the final clip for today.
My next question is not related to what you spoke about. It's relating to the housing authority. What is happening with the distribution of the houses? Persons have complained that their loans are ready, it's ready for disbursement, but the keys are not handed over, and the money, the exchange between them and the housing authority is not happening. Can you give us an update on that?
Right. So the last update I had from the housing authority on the issue was that commencing as of last week, all the necessary paperwork that was required.
As of last week, strange enough, that's the same week we started light fire and all in relation to it, isn't it? Yeah, no, we started week before, but we started light the real fire last week. So last week, okay.
To have the distribution of the houses commence was completed, and starting with the current site, that distribution should be taking place in the next 2 weeks. So I would certainly say that I expect the housing authority to give a more full public briefing on the actual details of.
So Prime Minister basically kind of telling the housing authority they better do a press conference. Yeah, let them do a press conference. Believe me, let the housing authority of Grenada do a press conference. I would love that. Let them do a press conference. I want them to come out and do a press conference. Mr. Prime Minister, you know that? Let them come out and do a press conference.
My next question is not related to what you spoke about. It's relating to the housing authority. What is happening with the distribution of the houses? Persons have complained that their loans are ready, it's ready for disbursement, but the keys are not handed over, and the money, the exchange between them and the housing authority is not happening. Can you give us an update on that?
Right. So the last update I had from the housing authority on the issue was that commencing as of last week, all the necessary paperwork that was required to have the distribution of the houses commence was completed, and starting with the current site, that distribution should be taking place in the next 2 weeks. So I would certainly say that I expect the housing authority to give a more full public briefing on the actual details of how the distribution occurs. But my expectation is that in the next 2 weeks, the distribution will start.
Shameless, isn't it? Yeah, shameless. But we're going to talk about that one next night. We ain't going to go on. Folks, that's nearly all the time we have tonight for Talking Points. That's nearly all the time that we've got tonight for Talking Points. And of course, we will be back tomorrow night with more Talking Points for you, God's willing. All right? And again, careful, little mouth, what you say, because sometimes mouth does open, word does jump out. And tonight, we've seen a clear example of that. We continue to call on this administration to have a bit of emotional intelligence. Understand that people, human beings, have a thing called emotions. They have something called feelings. Yeah? They laugh, they cry, they feel hurt, they feel pain. So they have the range of emotions. And if you continue to treat people as just numbers to walk and put a ballot into the ballot box, then you are damaging people. And that is what is taking place right now. They are damaging people. And then when there are people, for instance, the two brothers, the two guys who have lost their parents, they did not even get the opportunity to say goodbye. They did not get the opportunity to have a body or bodies to say, we got the bodies, we're going to have a final sending away ceremony. There's a tombstone that we can visit, and we know this is where the remains, the last mortal remains of our loved one lies. They don't even have that. And yet still, the only person that has been speaking to them is the DPP. That shows a lack of emotional intelligence. That shows a lack of care and concern for a fellow human being. Whether or not they are Grenadians, they are first human beings and should be treated as such. And for at this point in time, no member of the executive have gotten in touch with these individuals and offered our sincerest condolences, our sincerest apologies on behalf of the Grenadian people. If the island of Grenada, and in particular the Ministry of National Security, faces a multi-million-dollar lawsuit in the near future, when all of this 23 days that you said nothing to them is taken into consideration, it ain't gonna look good for us. Folks, that's all the time we have. In whatever you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. And I need to get something there to play, and I ain't sure what to play tonight. Yeah, I ain't sure what to play tonight. Let me see what I could get to end off the program tonight. Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to independence tonight.
A place that is under the sun, 133 square miles. Even though we're very small, come visit, you'll have a ball. I tell you, this is a paradise. A lot of people don't know we have nutmeg and cocoa. That is how we came the Isle of Spice. So in 1974, Uncle Gary fought for so. That is when we became recognized. But that wasn't sufficient. We wanted independence, so we could be proud like Trinidad. Gary came back from England. That day was liberation. He brought back the ice, gold and green flag. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to my little country. Now won't you join with me and sing this melody? We celebrating 50. Let us live in unity. Put away political party. Even the blind could see this year is history, our golden jubilee. Now I know there was a time under the British rule, Grenadian was still treated as slaves. Man, we could not go to school. We wore the white man footstool. Thank God we Uncle Gary was brave. That is why in 51, the man he created a storm. He fought to preserve my heritage. He made the whole sky turn red with very little bloodshed. That is when we turn a brand new page. Equal rights was what we want. That was very important for we to uplift our standard. Black people was not relevant. We could not even walk in pant. Now that part of we history revamp. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to my little country. Now won't you join with me and sing this melody? We celebrating 50. Let us live in unity. Put away political party. Even the blind could see this year is history, our golden jubilee. Might have the opinion that we are not independent, and in many ways you are not wrong. But we must have sustenance, not to mention some brilliance.